In this episode of Learn to Cook on a Budget with Erin, we are learning how to make chicken cutlets in the skillet with a little bit of sauteed summer squash, cooked all in the same skillet. We love meals like that. Let's get to it. The first thing that we're going to do when getting our chicken cutlets ready for the skillet is to pound, slice, and pound. We're looking for an even thickness for each of the pieces of chicken so that it cooks evenly and is finished at the same time. We will be sauteing these in batches, so we want it to go quickly, which is another reason that we want that thinner, even piece of chicken. I'm going to use the tenderizer part of this. I think that helps pound a little better. Of course, you can just use the mallet end as well. I'm going to just pound the thicker side. We don't really need to pound the thinner side. We are going to slice this. Be aggressive. This is your good anger management moment in the kitchen. I feel like between this and like when you're like pounding out like when we do the oven fried chicken, we're going to be talking about potato chips and pretzels as breading. Watch that video as well. You're just mashing that up. You want to get that into kind of a finer powder almost, or breadcrumb consistency. And so this is the same kind of deal. This is a fun one for the kids to do as well. Obviously, if they're old enough to understand food safety and working with raw meat, they could do this as well. From here, we're going to slice crosswise, and then I'll probably pound again. So you're just gonna go across this way. Careful with your fingers. This cutting board is slippery. I don't know why. And once you can then split it open and cut through that way. But I find it's easier to start sideways and then you can peel it that way. And then from there, we can pound again. These look pretty even though. This one might need a little pounding on this side right here, but that looks pretty good. Just be careful when you're holding the chicken with the tops of your fingers that you're not too shallow in that chicken there. So these are the cutlets. It's not a tenderloin. This is the chicken breast that we're cutting into cutlets. And after we've sliced, we're looking for that even thickness for cooking. So I'm gonna just do another quick light pound of these, and then they'll be ready for the skillet. We use the tenderizer side again. Before we let these go into the skillet, we do need to pat them dry, and we are going to give them a little dredge. Yeah, there's some of these, especially when you're slicing crosswise, it's hard to get a real even slice. Some of these are a little bit thicker, especially on the edges. All right. Perfect. All right, a quick pat dry, and then we will get the dredge ready. We're gonna do both sides, paper towels, paper napkins, whatever you have. And this will help the dredge stick a little better to the chicken. For the dredge, we're just gonna use a little bit of flour, and I'm gonna add a little seasoning here. This is where you can have a little bit of fun. You could just use flour and the olive oil and a little salt and pepper, but I'm gonna add a little garlic and smoked paprika for just a little fun, a little color, a little pop of flavor. Just gonna toss that right in with the dredge. Neither of these are flavors that are gonna really like overpower anything with whatever you're serving it with. It's just a nice little addition. So we are gonna move now over to the skillet. So I'm gonna dredge and then put right into the skillet, kind of probably gonna take 3 to 4 batches to do this. So we're gonna go over and get the skillet ready and get these in and cooking. All right, I'm gonna turn the heat over to a medium high because we're gonna do a couple batches of these. This skillet will eventually get real warm, and I don't want anything to start burning, especially because we're dredging in flour. If this flour is in there long enough, you'll start to get a burn, and I don't want any of that. So we're gonna go with the medium high for the heat here. And then I'm just going to dredge and put right into this oil. If we need to add more oil between batches, we can. You want to make sure to get this nicely coated. This is a dredge. This is not, we're not necessarily frying anything. We're just adding a little dredge and then we're going to saute. That isn't quite hot enough yet, but it will be, so that's okay. So when we're cooking the cutlets, we want to cook them in a single layer. So I've got 3 fit here in my 12-inch skillet. So we'll probably do 2 to 3 rounds of this. I do have a plate waiting nearby with some foil so we can keep that warm once this round is cooked, and then that'll keep everything warm for the meal. Just after about 2 minutes or so, you'll start to see the chicken is already cooking through on the edges. And that's when you know that it's time to flip and cook. These only take a couple of minutes to cook on each side, and you can tell they're ready to flip when you can see that it's starting to cook through on the edges. I have my trusty chopula. Look at how gorgeous that is. So we are almost finished with round 1, and then we will get the other 2 rounds cooked in the skillet next. Okay, we have the chicken cutlets finished, and I probably normally would have been chopping these while I was doing that, but I was kind of babysitting everything. Just gonna quickly slice these squash. I have 2 zucchini and 2 summer squash. I'm gonna use the same skillet. I want some of that flavoring from sauteing the chicken. I'm gonna do, I don't know, 1/4 inch pieces. Just lop off the tops and bottoms. And we're just gonna saute this. I'll probably add a little bit more oil and saute these for a couple of minutes, and then we will have our chicken and veggies ready for dinner. High heat. This skillet's already pretty warm. Another advantage to adding seasoning to the dredge is that then you get a little of that left over in your skillet here that'll kind of get coated onto the veggies. So this will take a couple minutes to saute. I'm gonna use my favorite spinella. You've heard me talk about these before on the Learn to Cook on a Budget show. This is probably my favorite go-to gadget, and I'm just gonna use them to toss, and then of course it's got that little spoon angling to it so that I can easily serve the veggies right out of the skillet. I hope you can see what an easy weeknight dinner this will be in your kitchen. Have fun with those seasonings in that dredge. Give it whatever pop of flavor that you like, and you can make these chicken cutlets with all kinds of different side dishes. I just chose summer squash for today because yum. If you learned something new, please like this video, leave a comment, let me know what you learned, let me know what you're planning on cooking in your kitchen, and of course, please subscribe. We release new episodes of Learn to Cook on a Budget with Erin series at noon Central Time every Wednesday. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.